Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out KASPA's price chart and see what is happening in the short term. And a spoiler alert, I think we are sort of kind of able to identify some good signs, suggesting we're going to get a continuation of our short term move up soon. But before we get into all that, we are going to real quick talk about this very important tweet because in case you missed it, according to Daily KASPA, we have just seen massive amounts of withdrawals from several major exchanges, and in total, you are looking at over 20 million KASPA tokens moving off of central platforms. And when you look at the data, it's not actually retail size transaction. You see, according to this image, I think it is very much safe to assume that we do have some whale activities in there. And when this kind of pattern shows up across multiple platforms, okay, that's going to be a bit of a different story, and it's definitely going to be something to pay attention to because it usually means one very important thing. Big holders are actually preparing for something. What is it going to be? Well, we really don't know, but we are going to take a closer look at the numbers. Now, Gate.io saw about, I think it is 10 million KASPA token withdrawals, MEXC about 6 million, KuCoin and also Kraken each lost about 2 million KASPA tokens, and even Bybit had a smaller but still I would say very much notable 1.6 million KASPA outflow, and these are sort of kind of large moves. And since wallets are tagged as exchange wallets, well, okay, it's actually quite clear that this isn't internal shuffling. No, this is literally user withdrawals, and that means coins are moving absolutely from exchanges to wallets, which will reduce the amount of KASPA available for immediate sale. Now, why is this important? Because typically when coins leave exchanges, they usually become something called illiquid, meaning they are not going to be easily sold. And this tends to reduce selling pressure and can potentially tighten supply on exchanges. And you need to combine that with KASPA's already strong network fundamentals and growing ecosystem. Okay, I think you can sort of kind of come up with this conclusion that suggests maybe this kind of movement is indeed bullish. Now, to be fair, let me be very clear. This doesn't necessarily guarantee a short-term price pump, absolutely not. And sometimes big holders just simply want to secure their assets or maybe restructure portfolios. That can be also normal behavior. But from an on-chain perspective, this can be a good signal for us since essentially you are having less exchange supply, more on-chain accumulation, and this combo, if it's going to repeat again and again and again and again, it is, in my view, going to raise some eyebrows and suggest, you know what, maybe there is some accumulation going on behind the scenes, and maybe whales do not really want us to know what they are doing. So this is definitely the kind of news worth paying attention to and see, are we going to repeat the same pattern, let's say in the next couple of weeks? If we do, okay, at that point we can argue that this is bullish with a bit more confidence. So overall, I would say this is definitely a positive development, but whether it is going to have some legs or not, fair enough, can be up for debate. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is going on in like very short term in this area, because if you remember the last time that we talked about KASPA, we were writing here and the idea was that let's hope that we're going to get another move up, and at that point we can say, you know what, maybe this is a 1 2 3. And back then I think we talked about the possibility of having a triangle for 4 followed by another move up into wave 5, and we said if we get like a good move up into our wave 5, and then maybe this is going to be into like a wave 1 on a higher degree, correction for 2, another move into wave 3 4 5, even according to that scenario, which suggests maybe we have hit our final low, we should expect a move down, and we need to pay full attention to the shape of that move. And I'm going to argue we sort of kind of got what we expected. Now, first things first, this chart is from TradingView, and if I just hide everything, there we go. As you can see, in this candlestick, by like the smallest margin, we took the lowest low down here in KASPA. And you might say, well, okay, this cannot be an impulse anymore. Well, here is the deal. If you go on some other exchanges, for instance, let's check out Kraken. Usually we do have good charts on Kraken. There we go. As you can see, on Kraken, we absolutely 100% did not take the loss. So again, you can consider different counts, but I think one way or the other, we are going to have a move up in the short term, and I'm going to tell you what are my reasons. So first things first, let's be optimistic. Let's argue this is actually a bullish structure playing out. At that point, what is the shape of our move in here looking like? Well, I think at first we have to talk about what happened in here, and I do think this was a triangle to about this point into wave 4, followed by another move up into wave 5. This is a sharp correction down. Probably I'm going to say a WXY in form of a double zigzag right in here, and then pay attention. I think you are probably having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up in here, followed by a correction down, maybe an ABC flat, and this can be another 5 wave on the upside. And yes, as you can see, between this face down and this one, we really do not have overlapping of the waves. So you are able to argue that in KASPA, in terms of Helios waves, maybe this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on a higher degree, and followed by that, we are having a correction down. Now, I'll be honest, this scenario is far from perfect. Why? Because number one, this move up in an ideal scenario should have been actually quite a bit more stronger. And number two, this move down again in an ideal scenario should have taken some time, but we are not really living in a perfect world, so let's just deal with it. And if you want to do so, I think you can argue this is, 5 down into a correction for wave B and another move on the downside into our series. So the fact that I am sort of able to find 5 up followed by a correction down, in my view, can be a good sign. And also, since in here we are having overlapping of the waves between this phase up, the one that we are currently having, and also this one, well, okay, this can be another bullish sign, further confirming, what, maybe this is an ABC. Now, here's a question. What is it that we want to see in KASPA in like very short term? Well, I think we need to do some counting, and in my view, this is probably a 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna say maybe correction for 4 to about here, followed by another move up into wave 5. So I do want to see in the next 12 hours yet another move on the upside. Followed by that though, I need to see maybe like a 12-hour worth of consolidation pattern in here, and then another rather strong move up in order to take the highs and go quite a bit higher than that. Why? Because if the bullish scenario that I'm thinking is actually in play, well, okay, that implies that you are having 5 up into 1, correction for wave 2, and what's next? Great move up into wave 3 for 5, and you want to remember that in terms of Helios waves, wave 3 is known to be quite a strong and sharp move on the up or maybe downside, and in this specific case, it is going to be on the upside. So for the next, I'm gonna say maybe 4 to 5 days, if you see maybe another move up, consolidation, and then a rather strong bounce back, that could be an awesome sign suggesting, yes, we are on track to complete a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, indicating hopefully in KASPA, we have hit our final low, and this is going to be the beginning of our recovery phase, which and at the bare minimum target at least can be around this area, around the beginning of the crashing hour, about let's say 7.5 cents region, meaning we're gonna have hopefully from here about like a 50-60% move on the upside. But in my view, we are going to go quite a bit higher than that. And in case that you are a new viewer, you should know that in KASPA, we can consider different scenarios, but one way or the other, the conclusion is actually in the midterm, meaning I'm going to say probably in the next 2-3 months, sort of the same. Why? Because scenario number 1 suggests that we are having 5 up into a correction for wave B, and what's next? Another great move up into our C leg, which and in KASPA, we can expect taking the highest side in here for the first target around 20 cents, but maybe we are lucky and we're going to go quite a bit higher than that, and I do think this scenario is possible. Scenario number 2 suggests that this is 5 up into A, this is indeed a correction down into wave B, but you know what, maybe even with a decent move up, we are still going to be in a correction structure for this B leg, and after doing something like this, maybe reaching to about here, we're gonna have another move down. So as you can see, one scenario in KASPA suggests we're gonna have a massive move up, the other one suggests that we are going to have maybe like a 200-300% move starting from the current point, and which is going to be our primary case. Right now, I do like the bullish count a bit more, suggesting that we're gonna take the highest high, but I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't actually matter, because one way or the other, we can at least have like a 200% move up in order to get to about this important level. And then when we get there, we are going to check out the shape of our pattern that we got from the lows to about the highs and see what might be based on it the next likely move. For now, let's count on just that move on the upside to about here, and then we will cross that bridge when we get to it. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in KASPA's price chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.